Today we were at Hogback Ridge in Madison, walking down to the river to see how the wildflowers, the Virginia bluebells and the trilliums, see how they're doing. Let's go. Snake! That was cool. We're walking down the steps here. These right here. Wrong way. And I hear something rustling in the leaves beside me, and so I thinking, oh, it's a snake, and I look down, there's this cute little snake. Got a few shots of him, but I don't know if any of them came out correctly. So we'll see when we get him home. He was beautiful. I'm not sure what kind. There's all kinds of snakes around here. So I will definitely check him out when I get home. He was pretty. All right, here we go. There is something big rustling down here off to my left. It could be a deer. There are bear in this area. So, oi, who knows? Down in the floodplain now. All the green that you see is all ramps and trout lilies. The bluebells and the trillium haven't come up yet, or if they are, they're just starting. But it's gonna be beautiful down here when they do bloom. But all the green you see, that's all ramps. That's some good eating. Nom nom nom. Oh. Ramps are amazing to eat. This is the creek. The main river, the big river, it's on the other side of that big hill. Yeah, that's not happening today. So we're gonna follow this trail because I've been the other direction, but I've not been this direction. This is a waterfall I've never been to before. I'm going to set up my tripod, pop on some filters, and see how well it turns out. I've never photographed a waterfall like this before that's just one continuous slide. So it should be quite cool. We'll see what we get. Be back in a bit. Alright, I am set up. I have my camera set at manual. I am at f11 at 2 seconds. I've got a polarizer on the front of my camera with a 6-stop ND grad, and it's sunny. It's coming in and out of clouds, so hopefully we'll get a good result. Let's take this bad boy and see what we get. Not bad. Could definitely go a little slower. So we'll try it again. Do his head back and forth. He's trying to figure out what this is. Sure is pretty. Snake number 2. I decided not to get my tripod out and try and set it up because I was afraid I would scare the garter snake off. So I just got down on my belly on the ground and was taking photographs. Brian was a little ways ahead of me and had my other camera, so he videoed it while I took photos. The snake sat perfectly still, didn't move. It was a few minutes later he moved finally. A fisherman walked by with a string of trout. It caught the snake's attention. He turned his head and then took off into the leaves, and that's when I lost him. Okay, so that was the second garter snake that I've seen, and he was so cool. So I'm all covered in mud. My legs are all wet. But that was pretty cool. I got really, really close to him. I'm not afraid of snakes. Love snakes. So that was actually pretty cool. Hopefully I'll see some more. We'll see if we can see some. Hopefully the one snake I don't run into while I'm here is the eastern rattler, because the eastern rattlesnake is just as potent as the regular rattlesnake that's out west, and they like to hide in here, so let's hope we don't run into one. So I have this old stump sitting here, and it is covered in all this beautiful moss and lichen, and there are ferns surrounding it. And what I've done is I've got my macro out, my 60mm macro, and I've set my camera in aperture priority. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture the lichen up close. It looks like a little green snow, if you will. So whenever you're doing any type of macro, the one thing that you always want to do in your compositions is you don't want to just take one shot and move on. Move around your subject, get it from above, get it from below, get down really low, because as you do your macro shots, it changes perspective, and your subject changes each time you move. So the best thing to do is to just move around your subject, get different angles. Even if the photos don't come out great, at least you can see different perspectives, because with macro, unlike landscape where you go out and you just want to take one image and move on, with macro, you could literally take one subject and spend 4 or 5 hours just on that one subject, depending upon what it is and all the little nooks and crannies that it holds. So I'm just taking photos as I go. I'm changing my apertures. Right now I'm at f8. I took some at f5.6, and I'm just kind of moving as I go, because every time I move, it changes the image in my viewfinder, which I'm using live view. And I'm in shade, so I don't have any filters on. I'm not using any polarization. So it's actually coming out pretty daggone good. I, right now, just sitting here, see 3 more compositions just off the top of my head that I haven't even gotten to yet. So always remember, move around your subject, because you never know what's on the other side, what's underneath, or your perspectives. So that's what I'm doing now, as I kick my camera. So what I have is this really cool shot of the lichen, moss, and then on the very top of one of the pieces of wood is this sprouted moss. And moss has a stamen, and they do fertilize each other, and they do create their own spores. So basically, I've gotten this here, and it looks like I'm on top of a rock shooting down onto grass. It's actually very cool. So we're gonna reframe this. Now when you're doing macro, you always want to take into consideration your rule of thirds. Just like Captain Jack said in Pirates of the Caribbean, they're more like guidelines, but rule of thirds can be very important when you're doing macro. Some things that you do, you want to have it in one of the third spots, or in your thirds, in your viewfinder, or depending upon what your subject is, smack dab in the middle will work just fine. So right now, I have this right at my rule of thirds, and it is just that is so cool. Alright, so I found a wood anemone, not a sea anemone, Here we call them spring beauties. They're about the same. So I've got my camera on a Joby, and I'm focusing on the big flower here, and I have this little flower and then the bud here, barely in the frame. So what I have is I'm at f2.8, but my shutter speed is 1,250. So I'm going to try one shot and see how it comes out. I'm on aperture priority, and I'm doing a -0.7 exposure compensation because it's a white flower. When you're doing white flowers, if you don't do an exposure compensation, you lose a lot of your details in the white flower. So you want to have an exposure compensation. You could recover it in post, but it's best to go ahead and do it here because sometimes you'll miss out on a lot of highlights or a lot of things in the flower. So it's actually coming out very, very nice. I actually like it a lot. Well, found my first tick on me of the year. I hate those things. I'm gonna have to really check when I get home. These things are nasty. They're not fun. Whew. Sorry, I'm hand holding this as I walk. We're still trying to find our way out of here. We come out and this is what we find. So I'm set up, and I have, my camera is set on manual. I have a polarizer, a 10-stop ND filter, and a 3-stop soft graduated filter on here. And I'm just, because the sky is going to be in it quite a bit, and it's a lot brighter than my the foreground, I also have these rocks here in front of me as my leading line, with a little bit of the shore and those logs up on the side there in the photo. Hubby's running the camera today. Say hi, hubby.
Hi, hubby.
So I'm just taking a reading off of this. I'm going to shoot this at f11. I've got 2 seconds. So let's take it and see what we get. All right. So my GoPro's been put away. We're walking our way out of here, but we're pretty much just kind of bushwhacking it. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. I'm tired. If you like this video, please subscribe, click the like button. If not, hit the down, let me know why. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.